Welcome to the Weird and Witchy Sh podcast. I'm Kristy, your basic witch guide, here to make the mystical a little bit more approachable. In today's astrology lesson, we are talking all things Leo and how that manifests as your sun, moon and rising sign. Leo is the fifth sign of the zodiac, with Leo season starting on July 23rd and ending August 22nd, and this sign is of course represented by the lion. Leo falls in the middle of summer, making it a fixed sign. So fixed signs tend to be more consistent and less flexible than cardinal or mutable signs, and this is not in a bad way. They're just more likely to be true to who and what they are and be more rooted in their ways of being and their ways of thinking. I always think of it because they're in the middle of a season, they are right in the thick of it and less influenced by the things on the other side of them, because the things on the other side of them are summer. Leo rules over the fifth house in the astrological chart, which is often known as the house of pleasure. So this is pleasure of all kinds, including romance, passion, creativity, fun, self-expression, hobbies, all things that make you feel alive, that bring excitement and bring enjoyment. This house is also all about creation, including creation of children. So a lot of astrologers associate the fifth house mainly with a person's first child, but themes of all children can be seen here. Leo is a fire sign and its ruling planet is the sun, which is all about personal power, passion and drive. So the sun is the masculine counterpart to the moon. So if the moon is emotional, nurturing and receptive, the sun is forceful, forward-moving and action-orientated. The associated tarot card for Leo is Strength. This is the card of taming our animal instincts, building resilience and overcoming our fears by making friends with them. Some key words strongly associated with Leo are confident, charismatic, loud, proud, strong, warm-hearted, ambitious, fun, dominant, egotistical, overbearing, and narcissistic. Leo as your sun sign. So your sun sign is who you are at your core, the very core of your being, the true essence of you is what your sun sign is. I say this all the time, everything in our solar system revolves around the sun, all the other signs in your astrological chart revolve around your sun sign, meaning that it plays a huge role in your identity and in your ego. If someone has Leo as their sun sign, that means that they were born between July 23rd and August 22nd. So if we know that your sun sign is all about your ego, your identity and your sense of self, and we know that Leo is ruled by the sun, that already tells us quite a bit about how people with a Leo sun sign are likely to be. Leo suns are typically loud and flamboyant. They're the life and soul of the party. They like all eyes to be on them. They are the sun. They are the centre of our solar system. It's a Leo's world and we all just live in it, and they certainly know it. A big driving force for Leo is their ego. This has its pros and its cons. Typically, a Leo will have huge amounts of self-worth and confidence. They likely believe in themselves above all else, and they probably have the drive and the self-belief to go incredibly far in life. But the flip side of this means that they might be very egotistical, possibly they could be quite arrogant, and in very extreme cases they could have some narcissistic traits. And I'm definitely not being hard on Leo here, and I say this all the time. I feel like sometimes when I say the more negative traits of the signs in these 101 videos, I feel like I don't want people to be like, well, literally, fuck you. Because, like, all of the signs have a positive side and an equally negative side, and how that manifests person to person will vary massively. Also, I have a Leo stellium in my chart, so I do have a lot of Leo energy going about. So honestly, man, there's literally no judgment here from me. I'm basically roasting myself. And I also have so many Leos in my life as well. Like, I have one of my best friends as a Leo sun and a Leo rising at the same time. She has loads of like Leo energy. My own child is a Leo rising. One of my other good friends is a Leo rising as well. Yeah, actually, I'm also friends with like a Leo sun as well. Like, there, no judgment towards Leos, although I do find straight Leo men to be sent straight from the devil to torment us, but that's a story for another time. Another personal thing that I've noticed about the Leos in my life, or like any really strong Leo placements, is the way that they tell a story. They go into such excruciating detail about absolutely everything. So where a normal person would say, oh, I bumped into Stephen at the shops earlier, a Leo would say, I woke up this morning and I didn't know if I wanted to wear a blue jumper or a red jumper. I debated for a bit and then I ended up going with blue, and then I had toast and biscuit for my breakfast. That's usually what I have, unless I have porridge. Sometimes I like to have porridge, but anyway, today I had toast and biscuit. Then I had a quick call with my mother. Then I Then 40 minutes later, they'll get to their original point of how they like met Stephen at the shops, like, but it just like takes them a while to get there. And I think this is because they are the main character of their life, and they might think that they're also the main character of your life as well. So why would you not want to know all these details about the great and wonderful Leo? And you know what? They actually might well be the main character of your life, because Leos are very charismatic. They're very fun. People are naturally drawn to them because they like ooze this charming, vibrant, sunshine energy. Like when the sun is out and it's a really nice day and that draws everyone outside, people are drawn to Leo in a very similar way. They're lively, they're loud, they tend to be very animated when they speak, so naturally people want to talk to them because they're very entertaining to be around and they're very interesting to look at. And because they're very self-assured, they can go straight into any room and demand attention. They can make friends with anyone and really be like the whole centre of like the attention. They're very good at that. Leos are also naturally very good leaders, as they are courageous, they're fierce, and they're strong-willed. The saying lion-hearted really applies to Leo. This also means that they are pride, as in like they're pride of other lions, the pride of people that they surround themselves with, the people that they care about, are very important to them, and they'll have extreme loyalty towards these people, likely doing anything to protect them. This makes Leos really great friends because they love a lot and they love very deeply. Some famous Leo sons: Jennifer Lopez, Austin Butler, Ben Affleck, Barack Obama, Whitney Houston, Jennifer Lawrence, Daniel Radcliffe, Matt LeBlanc, Bo Burnham, and Madonna. Leo as your moon sign. So your moon, as we've covered before, is your inner world and your emotions. It's this like internal, intuitive world that you've got going on, and also like your subconscious mind as well. If someone's moon sign is Leo, this means that the moon was in the zodiac sign of Leo at the time that they were born, and the moon changes sign like every 2.5 days. So, Leo moons tend to be less like in your face than a Leo sun, and they're not less, I guess maybe they are less demanding of attention. Again, it really depends on all the other placements in your chart as a whole. Leo moons are probably still very charismatic, very likeable, and people are probably still very drawn to them. But I feel like it's less like they're walking in like, hey, look at me. It's a little bit more subtle than that. I guess it's like, I feel like a Leo moon captures attention rather than demands attention, is what I think. They are probably very vibrant with a very fun personality, very expressive, very creative, with lots of new ideas and big dreams. Creativity is important. Leo moons might feel like they need to be constantly stimulated, constantly being creative, constantly using some of this kind of like vibrant energy up. They want to express themselves, and they want to experience pleasure, and they want to experience fun all the time. Leos, actually all placements, are kind of like childlike when they play. They kind of get this like ecstatic excitement when they're really, really happy, and it's very endearing to watch. I feel like you'll see like a fully grown adult get like really excited about something the way like a 5-year-old would, and it's like it's very wholesome. Emotions are probably felt pretty strongly for Leo moons. As with everything with Leo, it's big, it's bold, it's dramatic. Emotions and inner world are no different. Leo at its core is all about the self, the sun. The self is meeting the moon, which is the inner world and the unconscious. This means that a lot of the inner world is about the self. I mean, isn't that really the case for everyone? Like, I feel like everybody's inner world is all about them. But with Leo, they can be like rigid in believing that their emotions and their thoughts and their feelings are the only way of doing emotions, thoughts and feelings. They're also a fixed sign, and they're immovable, so this is kind of amplified. This can mean that once they feel a certain way, it's going to take a hell of a lot to be able to change their mind. If something or someone is perceived as good, it will take a lot to sway them away from that, meaning that they can be very loyal and very forgiving to people. But if that opinion changes and someone does something to really piss them off or let them down, it will be very, very, very hard to get back into the good books of Leo. I always see Leo as having these extremes, like they're either love you and are like deeply, deeply obsessed with you, or they like hate you and couldn't care less if you were dead. I feel like Leo is very dramatic with everything. Everything is very extreme. Egos can be very easily wounded for a Leo moon, and Leo pride can come through very strong. Often they can struggle to show their emotions if they've been very hurt, And this can be because they are very proud and they don't want to show any perceived weaknesses. Or pain can sometimes be expressed as anger or as shutting off completely, because they are maybe too proud to say, hey, that actually hurt my feelings, that they might get like an explosive outburst of anger, or they might just shut somebody off completely and be like, well, I actually don't care anyway about that person, when really that isn't true. And sometimes they might not even realise that they're doing this. They could actually be fooling themselves because their ego is so big that they're fooling themselves into believing that they don't need that person or they don't care about that thing. Leo moons and Leo all placements can be very demanding and they need to be in control. If they can stay away from being overly controlling or very overbearing, they will excel in leadership roles, because not only are their ideas fresh and exciting, but because they believe in themselves and they believe in their ability to lead others. Leo moons also tend to be very warm and very caring. They typically have like very big hearts with a lot of love to give, and this really radiates out of them. This is part of the reason that people are so drawn to them. They are kind, they are generous, and they have much love for their circle of people. Some famous Leo moons are Lana Del Rey, Julia Roberts, Tom Hanks, Renee Zellweger, Eva Mendes, Helena Bonham Carter, Megan Fox, David Bowie, Paris Hilton, Megan Thee Stallion, and Louis Tomlinson. Leo is your rising sign. So if someone has a Leo rising sign, that means that the constellation of Leo was rising over the eastern horizon at the moment they were born. This sign changes every 2 hours. Your rising sign also determines the entire structure for the rest of your chart. So your rising sign will always rule the first house in your chart, and then in order of signs, the other house rulers will be determined. This means that if Leo rules the first house, Virgo will rule your second house, Libra your third house, and Scorpio your fourth house, and so on and so forth until you get round all the zodiac. Your rising sign also determines your chart ruler. So for Leo rising, this would be the sun. So all of that fiery, vibrant, go, powerful energy that we've spoke about likely has a big influence on this person. Your rising sign can be considered to mark the point where your soul entered your body and you became you on this earth. So some people consider your rising sign to show you your fate or your destiny, and the whole reason why your soul actually came here on earth, onto this physical plane, why you're here having this human experience, basically. It's also the mask that you show to the world, so your persona. And I've said in all of these Astrology 101 episodes that I feel like the rising sign is really different for everyone, but I'll say it again. So your rising sign could be the face that you show to the world because that's what you see as the best version of you. It's not a fake you, it's just you enhanced. I think about it as you on a first date. You're probably not going to like rock up and be like, hey, here's all my like mental illnesses and like things that's wrong with me. You're probably going to show like the best version of yourself on a first date. So this kind of persona in this way could also tie into being the lessons that you're learning in life that teach you to develop the traits of your rising sign, if that makes sense. It could also be the version of you that you've had to show up as for one reason or another. For example, you might be a Pisces sun and you really resonate with that being who you are at your core, but maybe people in your life would never guess you were a Pisces because you show up so much as a Leo, because maybe things in your life have happened and that's just like the face you decide to show the world. The rising sign I always think is very complex, and it's like a little bit difficult to understand, and everyone I know feels very differently about their rising sign. Some people feel that their rising sign is more them than their sun sign. Some people don't resonate with their rising sign at all. Some people feel like they were more their rising sign when they were younger, and as they get older, they're not so much resonating with that anymore. And some people feel like they grow into their rising sign as they get older. For me, I think I kind of fall into that camp of seeing my rising sign as traits that I need to learn to develop, and I'm developing throughout my life, and life lessons that I'm on, and kind of like my destiny as well. So I'm a Leo sun. No, I'm not a Leo sun. That was a blatant lie. I'm a Virgo sun, and that really is who I am at my core, and that is like a really huge part of my identity as being a Virgo sun. But Sagittarius is my rising sign, and Virgo and Sagittarius are so completely different to one another, where Virgo likes to have all this like structure and control, but Sagittarius likes to have all this like freedom and be more fun and more silly about it. And I feel like the older I get, the more I'm leaning into my Sagittarius energy, and that's like a really good thing for me, because I personally feel like that's part of my life lessons that I have to learn, is to be a little bit less rigid. There's other reasons that I feel like that about my rising sign, but let's go on with what we're talking about. In my opinion, my unprofessional opinion, might I add, I think that the rising sign is so different for everyone for a couple of reasons. The first being that everyone's persona is in place for a different reason. Everyone shows up the way that they show up for a different reason, just like the reason that I decided to wake up today and do my hair like this and do my makeup like this and put this t-shirt on, whereas you might have like decided to wear a completely different outfit. That's kind of like, that's everything. Like, everybody's got their reasons for like who they are and what their persona is. And reason number 2 is everyone's fate, destiny and life path are all also completely different. So to me, that kind of makes sense as to why the rising sign manifests so differently for everybody. Anyway, rising signs can determine your life path and your career that you might be drawn to. So for Leo risings, good career options might be, I would say, definitely something that has a bit of status about it. Again, that will be different for everyone. So this might be a doctor for one person and an actor or a singer for another person. But whatever it is, it will probably be something that makes them feel good about themselves and makes them feel really proud of what they're doing. Something in the spotlight where they have all the attention and recognition would be really great for Leo risings. And they're probably going to want to be in control wherever they are. So being the boss is probably a really good move for them, because they will not like being told what to do. Something creative and artistic would also be good. So maybe something that's kind of outside the box of what like a normal job would be. So maybe even something like an athlete, because they might have all this like energy about them, and like again, they'll like everybody to be like looking at them. I guess like anything that they could really be in the spotlight and be like really fucking proud that that's like their job, and that makes them feel like really good about themselves. Some astrologers also believe that your rising sign is also like your actual physical mask, so like how you look. So for Leo risings, I mean, I think all Leo placements are really like the easiest to spot. They tend to be like very attractive for starters, and if a Leo is not stereotypically attractive. They will have enough allure and charisma to be naturally very attractive without the physical looks, if that makes sense. People are still going to be very attracted to them. And they also tend to have very feline traits, so like prominent eyes, a more broad nose, captivating eyes, and normally hair that stands out. Kind of like big hair, I would say. Or just like noticeable hair. Some famous Leo risings are Blake Lively, Meryl Streep, Jack Nicholson, Marilyn Monroe, Matthew Perry, who is also a Leo sun, Angela Lansbury, Tina Turner. I mean, Tina Turner is got the Leo look like down. I feel like obviously she's like got like, she's known for like her big hair, but then like her facial features are also very like very like feline looking as well. She's like very attractive and very like charismatic, like with this like huge like stage presence. Obviously she's known for being this like fantastic performer with this like really like unusual like singing voice as well, which can be like also another Leo thing. Think about it like the lion's roar. I feel like for me, Tina Turner is like the poster child for Leo rising. I think she's such a perfect example of that. Then we have Mary-Kate and Ashley Olsen, Ella Fitzgerald, and Glenn Close. So that is it for your Leo 101. Let me know what you thought of this episode. I hope that you found it useful or fun or both. And until next time, bye!